So my name is Jess and I am one of the perinatal and under one workers for the East Hertfordshire Family Centre Service, and welcome to part 1 of 3 of myself just answering the most commonly asked questions we have around introducing solid foods to your baby. So I'm going to start off with just explaining what age baby is ready to start solid foods, alongside some of the signs to show that they're ready, and also some of the mistaken signs that we come across as well. So that's what I'm going to start off with first. So babies are usually ready to start solid foods at around 6 months, and we go by 3 reliable signs. Those 3 reliable signs are baby is able to sit up unaided themselves. So this may be when they're in their high chair, they are able to sit nice and straight throughout the course of like the meal time. The next is their hand, eye and mouth coordination. So they can see food, pick the food up and bring that to their mouth. You may see they have started to do this with toys, bringing them to their mouth. So that is a way of showing that sign is there. And also their tongue thrust reflex has disappeared. So you'll know if this tongue thrust reflex is still there and present if food goes towards baby mouth and they just stick their tongue straight back out and the food goes mainly around their mouth instead of inside. This would show that that tongue thrust reflex has not quite disappeared yet, so they're not quite ready to start having solid foods just yet. That usually disappears around 4 to 6 months. And it's those 3 signs together that show reliably that a baby is ready to start having solid foods, and they don't usually all appear together until around the 6-month mark, which is why it's around 6 months that a baby is usually ready to start having some solid foods. So going on to just a few mistaken signs that may make you think that your baby is ready to start solid foods. We hear that maybe baby is waking more during the night, or that weight gain has slowed down, or baby just seems hungrier. And they don't always necessarily mean that baby is ready to start having solid foods. If baby is under 6 months and they are just getting a bit hungrier, upping their milk intake is perfectly fine. And again, in terms of like not sleeping throughout the night or weight gain slowing down, again, these are things that can happen, and it doesn't always necessarily mean that baby is ready to start moving on to food just yet. We'd always recommend waiting until you notice those 3 reliable signs before starting to introduce solid foods to your baby. So next, I'm just going to go through some of the first foods to introduce. So kind of what foods to start off with, and then how to kind of move on from there. So vegetables are a very good option to start off with first. So that can be things like carrots, broccoli, potato. Just kind of think of any vegetables, and you can start with sweet potato too, and just offer those to baby first, just to just to learn the different tastes and textures, and then you can move on to introducing some different fruits and things like pasta, rice, porridge, pulses. You can introduce most foods, so kind of thinking about what you may have for like breakfast, lunch and dinner. You can introduce all of those things to your baby from around 6 months. There are, however, just a few things to avoid. So babies, you should avoid any raw egg or products that contain raw egg. And if you are going to introduce egg, we recommend the eggs with the red lion stamp, and make sure they just are fully cooked. If you're providing egg for baby, or if it's egg within a product as well, just make sure it's fully cooked through. And honey is another one to avoid. Honey shouldn't be given to baby until they are at least 1 year old. So honey and raw egg are 2 of the main things to avoid. we also get asked a lot about allergies and like things like peanuts. Should I avoid giving them to my baby? And the answer is, from around 6 months, like when baby has started having solid foods, you can introduce all of these foods to them. We would just recommend introducing one a week separately, just so you have like a window of time there to recognise if baby was to show any signs of a reaction. It will just help you to pinpoint which food it was that caused that reaction. If either mum or dad of baby have any known allergies, just be more mindful when introducing those foods to your baby, or you may want to speak to a GP first if they're quite severe. And then lastly, in this part 1 of 3 video, I'm going to speak about baby-led and adult-led. So the difference between the two, as that is again another commonly asked question we get here at the Family Centre service. So baby-led, you would be providing lots of finger foods for your baby to kind of pick up, explore by themselves. They'd have a spoon as well, so they can try and spoon the food and bring it to their mouth. They may just play with the spoon, but it's all giving them the control, so letting them kind of explore it all themselves with their spoon, their bowl, the finger foods, even the puree food. They may just put their fingers straight in and try the food that way, and again that's absolutely fine. That's how they learn. And then adult led would be yourself as the parent having the bowl, the spoon, and you're trying to feed baby the food on offer at that meal time. So it's lovely to mix the two. Let baby kind of, it will be very messy and that's okay, just want to be prepared. But let baby kind of explore with finger foods and puree foods, and then as an adult have maybe the bowl and spoon as well, and then you're role modelling how to use those as well, because they may just be a toy for baby when they first start, and then when they watch you as their parent use the bowl and spoon and direct towards their mouth, that's how they learn what to do with it and how to use them. So that is kind of more adult led, and then obviously explains baby led, and it's just a nice way of kind of mixing the two when you're starting to introduce solid foods to your baby, and as you move on throughout the few months after starting foods as well, and they're starting to build up those meals as well. So thank you for joining in with part 1 of 3 of our introduction to solid food videos. If you have any questions about introducing solid foods and you'd like to speak to a member of our perinatal team, please do get in contact with the Family Centre service and we'd be happy to help you. Thank you for listening. Bye.